All right, welcome back into another Dragon Ball Supercard game video. Today we're going to go through the yellow GT Goku out of set 14. And if you haven't checked out the gameplay video between me and Rob and the set 14 Majin Buu list, or deck I should say, definitely go check that out. I did put a poll a few days ago or 4 days ago, depending on when this actually came up, on the screen here, and pretty much overwhelmingly set 14 Jiren was kind of the pick from all the votes there, and then it was yellow GT Goku. So most likely after this will be Jiren, so definitely subscribe if you want to see that. Also, if you do pre-order any of the cards that I've talked here, definitely use my TCG player link below if you do buy any of the cards. All right, the first thing we're going to talk about is the leader, and the leader is honestly really cool. Some people say it's Vegex, like the new Vegex, but I don't think that's what the case is. It's basically a scry leader plus mill at the same time, but really you're not really milling or scrying at the same time. It's a little weird, but you do look at the top, what, 1, 2, 3 cards throughout all the cards, and as well as the leader itself, and it really plays to itself where you play things into the drop. Instead of it going to the drop, it actually gets played. So the leader reads auto draw 1, and then auto, if you have 2 or more energy, when a yellow card, battle card is revealed from the top of the deck and placed in the area, you can, and played by that skill, you may flip it over. You draw 1, untap 1, and then you draw your life until you have 5. And then if you have 4 or less, you can draw 2, which is okay, I guess. But usually you want that energy. And the other side is that the leader says you draw 2 cards when you swing, and then you get 5k, and then you also place 1 card on top of the deck, which really helps for all of the things that you might want to do in order to use the activate main here, or the trip to hell, or any of the other cards that play out cards from the top of the deck. And then activate main, you choose up to 1 of the Android 18 Defender of Heroes from your deck, add it to your hand, and then you put 1 on top of the deck. And then activate main Spirit Boost. With this, you reveal the top of the deck and place it in the drop area. So what happens is basically throughout the entire game, you use the Android 18 to look at the top 3. You use the leader effect, awaken, that is, because usually you awaken on the first 2 or 3 turns, really. And then you look at the top 3, you draw the 2 cards that you want, and on top, the 3rd card basically is the one that you want to keep on top. And then you use effects like the activate main to Spirit Boost 1, -1 marker, and you play out something. Or you do the other way, where you use like Trunks or you use something else in order to play out something from the top. And it basically makes everything pretty consistent. You usually see most, if not all, cards out of your deck, the ones that you actually do want to see. The only issues is that a lot of the time is that you're placing things on top of the deck instead of shuffling it or putting it at the bottom of the deck. Outside of your super combo, there's not really very many things that actually help with that. So there could be a few things that you might want to consider when building this leader. Moving on to some of the core stuff. This is the Unison. Oh my God, it looks great. I love it. I love it. It's Android 18. She has the mom outfit from GT, which isn't my favorite, but that's okay. The art is amazing. She's in space, whatever. I had to talk about it, but basically you pay 1, there's a +2, you look at the top 3, and then you order them at the top of the deck. And then the -2, which is pretty useful, I would say, because now if you know what you drew last turn, or what you put on top of the deck last turn, you drew that 1 card, and now you get to see a brand new card, and then put 2 at the top of the deck that you don't need, or you know that you're gonna be using Trip to Hell or something else with. And then the auto is that when you use Spirit Boost, you get the top down 1. It's that sort of weird Mecha Frieza effect, which why some people might lean towards this instead of Mecha Frieza, since this archetype itself does draw a good amount. Okay amount, I should say, but I think overall this archetype is really good. And then the Trip to Hell is basically you activate main, you pay 0, but you activate main. You draw 2, pay 1 yellow, of course, and then you choose 1 card and place it on top of the deck, and then reveal it, and then play it, or place it in the drop area. So basically these are very specific, in which burst doesn't actually trigger what this is trying to do, because it goes straight to the drop, and it doesn't say reveal first and then drop. It says well, for burst, it just place in the drop instead of mill. So those are the things you have to kind of keep in mind, because when you're going against like Black Sin, Cooler, Janemba, even when they mill you out, those effects don't trigger. So don't let anybody think or tell you otherwise. And then activate main limit 1, which is important. If you have 3 or more energy, you look at the top of your deck and then placing the drop area. So this is just a free cantrip, in which you you reveal and then you use all the cards. That we're going to take a look here. Well, not these two, but these two help. It's a top 5. You look at the top 5. A yellow Saiyan 4 or less, which basically gets everything, including the stuff that we're going to take a look at, plus the counterplay. The Vegeta counterplay getting from this, very, very useful. And then the yellow Unison, the 1-drop 18, you can search that if you are not awakened or somehow you don't awaken the first few turns. And then activate main, if your leader card is the one that we're using, you reveal the card after you discard it and you place it in a drop area. So basically this is just another awakening effect. You definitely play this at 4. You don't really play this at anything else. I don't know why you would. This is the card for the deck. The card that's not really for the deck, in my opinion, is the Vegeta the Brawler. I think it's a cool negate and it triggers off the auto once you look at the top card, but it takes up some setup and you hope for them to negate the attack in order for you to do that. And I don't think there's really very many things for you to use or you can use on their turn to put stuff on top of the deck. Targets, so Gohan the Brawler is a free blocker basically when this card is revealed, blah blah blah, right? Pan is the same thing at the bottom right, but she has a limit 1. And what happens is that the 1-drop Gohan, you can pay for 1 for a 1-drop blocker, but it's gonna get minused or killed or whatever. Not really worth it. I think Pan's more worth it. I play 2 in the deck, and I think giving critical for a 20k leader is really useful. But the real OG, the behemoth of this deck, not really behemoth, but honestly a very useful card, is the Deflect Double Striker, 1 cost 20k for 4-drop Goku. And what he says is that you pay 1 when it's revealed, drop area, you get to play it. But he has Deflect and he gets to pop something in rest mode. So what happens is that you use the Spirit Boost effect of the Unison, you tap something down, or you can use Power Super Saiyan, or you can use the Zamasu Super Combo, or you can use really anything else. Anything without barrier, you can go ahead and pop something in rest mode, which is very, very cool because this guy is a 20 cost double striker. You can probably get him off like turn 1, turn 2, well, turn 2 and onward basically, because turn 1 you really want to just make sure to use your Unison or something else. Look at the gameplay. And then the 3-drop Goku, you pay 1 and it's a blocker, 19k. You draw 1 and then you put 1 on top of the deck and then you switch 1 of the cards to rest mode. So you can kind of combine these guys, and once you draw a card, you see a new card, and then you look at you place the Goku Brawler, and then the one that you tap down, you go ahead and KO it from there. So I don't really use, well, I've recently put the Self-Restraint in here, but it's really just preference for you guys. And the auto for the Brawler for the Trunks, lastly, is that you look at the top card, just like the Self-Restraint, you draw 1, and then you place on top. So I guess you do look at it, but anyway, you play it for free after you reveal it, and then you draw 1, and then you get to place 1 on top. The other thing about this is that it's a Spirit Boost where you can activate main and then use the leader effect basically in order to reveal the top card. So I think this is pretty useful in the deck, in which you get to see a new card basically, and then end up using the combo which you put on top of the card or top of the deck, and then use Spirit Boost and then go from there. All right, so that's all the mono yellow stuff. This deck is mono yellow. I'm gonna have to let you know right now. But if you do want to go the blue yellow route, it's not very hard. It's not very creative at all, but it is pretty effective on a competitive basis. And honestly, with rapid movement, Bojack, Senzu Bean, Zamasu Super Combo, and as well as the Bardock, all these are very, very good cards. I just personally don't play it because I prefer a less complicated, more consistent sort of deck. You have to wait until you have a multicolor in your hand in order to play these cards, or at least to make it as efficient as possible. You have to set it up on their turn and hope they attack and swing, and sometimes that just does not happen. But overall, I've tested both options. I think blue yellow is great. You'll probably see it on a competitive basis in the future, honestly. And of course, you can play like Poutine or all these other cards that really go well with these cards. And then this is a very blurry picture, honestly. I don't know what's going on with DBS decks, but please, if you're watching this, please make it where you can magnify or it scales with the empty space that is in your website. That's the only gripe I have, and the search engine, but that's gonna be hard. Anyway, so the things that I haven't really discussed is that basically you play all the core stuff at 4. You really want the Goku Brawler, the Searcher, the Unison, the Trip to Hell. All these are really, really good cards. And honestly, I don't think I went through the one of the best cards in this deck, which is gonna be this 8-drop Goku here. He's a 25k Deflect Double Striker, in which you pop 2 cards in rest mode, and then You can also pay this for 3 yellow energy when you have 4 or more energy and a yellow unison card in play. So sometimes the card is pretty dead because it is a 0 or a 1 cost 10k, but the trade-off is really good because the activate main says Spirit Boost 2, you basically it gains dual attack, so it's 25 dual attack, double striker with deflect, and then any skills in any area for battle cards 7 or less can't be activated. So basically, when you're going against blue baby, they have to use an extra card in order to negate. When you're going against really any other deck, they can't use super combos. They can't use, let's say, the Supreme Kai counter in order to get rid of it, that type of thing. But it is still susceptible to a few other things like, let's say, the secret rare green ape, so you can still pop it. Sin Shenron, the black one, or really any deck, I think at this point, can play the extra card in order to pop it in the activate battle step. It does get around Hero's Lineage, which is why they made it an 8 cost. So there are some trade-offs for that. But we also play Repulse. It is really good in this deck, just as a just like yellow in general. And same thing for Final Flash. This slows down game and it slows down games, and it also is a 15k attacker. Final Flash is really good on the 8 drop that we just talked about, and just in general to get rid of different things. So like, let's say if we went ahead and Swollen Leader, go 35k, and then choose something with barrier, you can use Spirit Boost then in order to tap it down, and then use a brawler right after, or an 8 drop in order to pop it. So those are the type of things that you really want to use Final Flash for. I can see 3 of them here, but honestly, I think that's a little overkill. We also have 1 drop Basil in order to have a 19k swing, dual attack. Dart Broly is still going to be a thing, so Unison of Fury is going to be really good. And just in general, like some of these decks just play out things like this this 8 drop Goku, and it is still affected by it. So like, you know, when you really think about it, this Unison is really good just for yellow in general. And honestly, there have been times where I haven't been able to see the 18 in opening hand and have to wait until Awakening. So this guy, being able to tap down this guy or this guy, the 1 drops, and then get a marker and then just use his effects is really good. Of course, we use Power of the Super Saiyan. It's just really, really good. I can't express that enough. The counterplay is searchable and is really good because turn 1, it's live with this girl going to 3 markers. The super combo is just a staple. Again, if you're playing blue yellow, you can probably use these 2 and then 2 Zamasu unless you max out hit. And then Secret Identity is really good for removal. You have all this resting power, but at the end of the day, just straight up removal is really important. And then we also have Nimbus, just more slowing down while you build your board and just kill them off with a lot of different 20k, 15k, etc. attackers. So I think the biggest thing, Tyrannical Blow is just there for engine stoppers. I really like it in this format. It could be coming out. That's just a meta call, honestly. All right, that is it for me. Let me know in the comments below what you think. I really like the archetype. I think it is probably not as good as the previous sets, but I think that kind of applies for everything in this set. I think Bandai is really taking it easy for what the power level is for a lot of these decks that are coming out. And hopefully in the future, they'll probably reconsider some emergency ban lists or a sooner ban list than just waiting throughout, for the next 2 months or something like that. But we'll see. I am happy to see this leader. The next one is going to be Jiren. That is a very awesome and fun leader. Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.